As Amie treks through the untamed landscapes of Yellowstone National Park, her pulse quickens with each step, unaware of the imminent clash with a female grizzly that will change the course of her life. In the battle that ensues, Amie must summon every ounce of her strength and courage to survive this heart-stopping encounter. Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce. Amie Adamson was, in every sense, an outdoor enthusiast. You could say that she had a natural knack for adventure, embracing the sprawling beauty of the Greater Yellowstone Wilderness with open arms. Hiking, running, and marathons. Yep, those were just a few feathers in her cap. She even tackled 2,000 miles of the American Discovery Trail solo, and only the Grand Canyon's snowy embrace could slow her down after conquering 500 miles of the Arizona Trail. But what truly set Amie apart was her infectious passion for wildlife and the great outdoors. She wasn't one to keep the thrill of exploration to herself. This 47-year-old dynamo had a daily ritual, rain or shine, where she'd slip into her trusty running shoes and venture out for a morning walk, run, or hike. On a picturesque Saturday morning, July 22, 2023, Amie slipped into her trusty running shoes, the sun's warm embrace painting the world in golden hues. Before 8 o'clock, she hopped into her ride and arrived at the Buttermilk Trailhead in West Yellowstone Valley, her favorite starting point. With each stride, she soaked in the pure Yellowstone air, the rugged trail guiding her through towering conifer trees and a gentle uphill slope. This was her sanctuary, her haven, where the world came alive after the snows had melted away just a couple of months prior. But in the wake of spring, Yellowstone's allure wasn't limited to visitors alone. Bears, grizzlies to be precise, had decided to join the party. Park rangers were buzzing about unusual bear sightings in areas that usually remained bear-free. These creatures were inching closer to the park's busy hubs, including campgrounds and beloved walking trails. In response to this uptick in bear activity, warning signs sprouted like wildflowers, cautioning folks about the newfound risks. Bear spray became an essential companion, and everyone was urged to become a bear spray-wielding pro. Yet on that fateful morning, Amie ventured out without her bear spray. She figured it'd be a short run, and after all, she knew these trails like the lyrics to her favorite song. But little did she know that this seemingly innocent choice could cost her dearly. The path gently wound around a corner, and as she turned, she was suddenly thrust into an adrenaline-charged face-off with a grizzly bear and her curious cub. In that heart-stopping moment, both Amie and the bear were caught off guard. Amie's world froze as she stood there, heart racing, her breath the only sound breaking the silence. She'd unwittingly surprised the female grizzly, and being in close proximity to a mother with her cub was the red alert zone of bear encounters. In the bear's eyes, Amie was a threat, and in mere seconds of their encounter, the massive creature charged forward. The sow weighed over 180 kilograms or 400 pounds and stood tall, just a meter, 3 feet at the shoulder. Then, with breathtaking speed, the bear launched itself, and in an instant, Amie was forcefully thrust to the unforgiving ground. Desperation gripped her as she realized she couldn't possibly fight off this powerful force of nature. In a desperate bid for self-preservation, she instinctively curled up into a fetal position, her trembling hands forming a protective shield around her head and neck. Eyes tightly shut, she held her breath, bracing for the inevitable. But the female grizzly was a whirlwind of fury and ferocity. In that frantic moment, she saw nothing but red, her maternal instincts driving her to eliminate the perceived threat. With unyielding determination, the bear was on a mission to neutralize the danger at any cost. It was an absolutely brutal onslaught, and as the bear finally relented and stepped away, Amie lay there, dazed and teetering on the edge of consciousness. She had been crushed under the immense weight of the grizzly, its massive paws bearing down on her chest while it savagely tore into her flesh. In that harrowing moment, Amie closed her eyes, her body still, a surreal calmness descending upon her. Just moments later, at around 8 a.m., another hiker turned the same corner along the Buttermilk Trail. Their heart leaped into their throat as they took in the gruesome scene before them. There, sprawled in the middle of the trail, lay Amie. The hiker raced to her side, but tragically, it was too late. Amie had lost her battle for survival. The emergency services were called just after 8 a.m. by the hiker, and they rushed to the scene. It was a terrible shock for those who found Amie lying there. For someone to be out and about enjoying the great outdoors, to have their life snatched away in a matter of minutes, was truly tragic. Her family was in shock when they were informed. Amie left a huge hole in their lives that will never be filled. She had been such an enthusiastic, ambitious young woman whose passion for the outdoors never waned. The only comfort her family could take from the terrible circumstances was that Amie was doing what she loved most in the world, in the place she loved most. She had been in her element. When wildlife officials arrived on the Buttermilk Trail, they could see the tracks trampled where the bear had been. They found a series of footprints in the soft ground surrounding Amie's body. They were those of an adult grizzly and a cub. They knew that this had been a defensive attack, and it wasn't the first time this bear had been in human contact. After collecting DNA evidence, they managed to identify the bear. The female had been captured for research purposes 6 years earlier in 2017. Then in 2020, the same female was startled by a couple of hikers along the Aspen Trail at Henry's Lake State Park. She was foraging with her 2 yearling cubs at the time when she attacked Gregory Godar at close range. Again, it was a defensive attack, and once Gregory had been immobilized, she leapt off him and scuttled away with her cubs. Gregory lived to tell the tale. He walked away from the attack with his wife by his side. Unfortunately, Amie hadn't been so lucky. Just 3 months after the sad attack on Amie, the female bear caused trouble again. This time, she got too close to people's homes. It happened in September 2023, when she broke into a family's house near West Yellowstone. It was early in the morning, and the family was inside. They were surprised when they heard noise coming from the kitchen. They went to see what was happening and found a big female brown bear eating dog food from a container. They scared the bear away, and she ran off with her cub. Wildlife officials found the bear and had to shoot her. They took her cub and kept it at a wildlife rehabilitation center in Helena until they could send it to a zoo. The female grizzly was 10 years old when she died. She had been left alone after her previous attacks because they were seen as her trying to protect herself. But this time, she was getting too close to people and had lost her fear of them, which ended up being deadly for her.